agenda for this boot camp. And why you wanted to this why you wanted to do this boot camp is because we really understand the aspect that in the in the coming months, not even years, there is there has already has been a huge demand for cloud-based, I would say, professionals all across the globe, and obviously in India, because India is like one of the major countries which supplies, I would say, professionals and individuals all across the globe. So in that regards, what we wanted is like to design a session for you guys to understand what basically is the scenario of cloud, and why like what is happening in the industry in terms of cloud and data engineering. Data engineering is the another, I would say, new emerging trend, which is really getting very popular, and terms like MLOps, or productionizing your machine learning models, or cloud computing. These terms are something which are really gathering a lot of buzz, right? So the session is designed to have that kind of a free discussion, right? So feel free to ask as many questions as many queries that you have. We would not want to do a lot many things, achieve a lot many things in the session. We want to make it simple, we want to make it as possible, and we want to make it more important, informative, and give you guys strong, I would say, a heads up in terms of how this industry is evolving, and what you should watch out for, right? And what we are talking about is in a span of, I would say, not just 6 months or not just 1 year. We're talking about a span of next 5 years, or at least 3 years down the line, right? From an industry perspective, from a skills perspective, and what want to change. So in this regards, let's begin the session. So the session name, as you see, is Python on Cloud. The session focuses on using on Python as a programming language. Obviously, there is no I would say no requisites for you guys to know Python, and like have a very strong programming and coding skills right now. I will talk to it, like what's basically goes on into the cloud, and we'll also try to do a live case using a cloud-based, I would say, platform, right? At the end of the session, I hope all of that permits within the time, and I would say the most importantly, um, is I want it to be as interactive as possible. So I would say feel free to ask as much any questions that you have, any and that can be even with this topic. And even if you have something else, feel free to drop it in the chat box, or feel free to unmute and ask. I will really encourage and really look forward to that, because that's what we are really that's how I think we will really have a takeaway from the session. So don't just listen to it. I would say ask. I'm sure all of you guys have got some kind of agenda in your mind, some kind of objective in your mind while you are attending this session, right? So you have, I'm sure you guys have some sort of interest, some sort of I would say alignment with cloud and data science or data engineering, or maybe the interest to learn and fast track your career, right? So that's basically what we the plan of the session is. We don't want to boast jargons and make you guys confused. We want to be very simple, very exact, very precise, and be and have a very clear cut idea of what cloud is, or what really goes into it, from I would definitely from an overview perspective, and what you should expect from this industry, and how from the companies, right? So that's that. I will also quickly introduce myself. I think I introduced you to the session. So my name is Arpendu, and I am a data scientist. I'm working as a data science manager in Accenture AI, having a work experience of almost 7 years in I would say consulting, data science, strategy, um, uh, and yeah, with Ivy, I think I've been long for almost 5 years. A part of the corporate and classroom trainings. Yeah, so I have changed. I've seen this industry. I think my only impression is that I've seen this industry, evolve in these years. And I also come from a very, I would say, non-programming background. I did not have a computer science, but yeah, that's how I see this industry. So I've been outside of this industry, and right now I really know how this industry works, or how this industry is evolving. So I really understand the both sides of it. So I really understand, like, when you see the industry, and I'm sure you have a lot of questions like how this industry works, or I have, let's say, these experience, or I do not have these skill set. How should I go about it, and all of that, right? So it's a fast tracking industry, and there's a lot to evolve, and it's evolving at a high pace, right? But definitely, if you guys have any questions, anywhere, any point of time, just feel free to shoot. Okay, I want you guys to be as interactive as possible, and that's I think would be the real takeaway for all of us to this session. Okay, so I'll take a pause. Feel free to use the chat box. Feel free to unmute yourself and ask. So just raise your hand, or just interrupt me, and I will be happy to answer your questions. Okay. So I will put down the agenda. Take you through the agenda. So I want to really discuss about why we are talking about cloud. I am sure you guys have some kind of overview, some kind of insights, but I really want to put some data. We all always work with data, right? On why cloud is important, and how it is very important, right? And also in front of the rise of data engineering. So we have been talking about data science or data analysis, right? So there has been a rise of data engineering. It's again in an evolving stage, but there is a huge demand for data engineers or machine learning engineers, right? So I want to really talk about it. Quick insights, some quick numbers, especially from India. We live in India, and it's always good to know what's happening, or how we see this industry growing, right? And in all of this, how get Python gets connected, right? So Python is the winner from a skill set point of view, from a programming point of view. So I really want to talk about Python, how Python is a differentiator, how knowing Python and how knowing Python in cloud is really, really is a really, really, I would say, integral and essential skill set that anyone who wants to be part of this industry have, right? And also Python and cloud, all right? So and when you're talking about Python, how Python gets integrated with cloud, right? And finally, we'll try to run in a some really run from some Python scripts, right? And extract data at a fly at a real time using using Colab. I'm sure many of you guys already know it, but for people who do not know it, it's basically it's a cloud-based Jupyter environment. It's a Python environment powered by Google, right? So that's basically from a. I'll just try to show you like how it works, and the most important thing is not about it's in 1 hour. It's not really we'll not be able to have all understanding of codes and all of that, but really from a perspective point of view, what you want to understand is like why it's so so demandable. And post pandemic, post COVID-19, yes, data science already had a lot of demand, but post pandemic, post this COVID-19, right? There has been a structural change in a lot of companies, and I'm sure you guys are working professionals, and you yourself have seen that change, right? So in that change, in that context, how this the data part of it, how companies are able to have a redesigned focus, and how in all of this, if one can have the right skill set, he can really he or she can really, get some from some great offers and some really fast track your career, right? So that's basically the agenda. Okay, I'll stop for a moment. Please let me know if you have any questions. Okay, even in the chat box, or if you want to unmute yourself. So just feel free. Okay. Okay, so I have a question from Shantani. How much Python knowledge is necessary for a digital marketer who wants to be social media data analyst? Okay, uh, see, it's a good question, Shantani. You already, I assume from your question that you already are into the digital space, you're in the digital marketing space, and you want to be like get into the data analysis field, especially with respect to social media, right? So Python is a tool. It's an integral tool, I would say. Okay, especially from the if you're really looking forward to making models and doing predictions, right, with respect to social media, obviously, and using digital data, using digital data or digital marketing. Yeah, there's a lot of scope in digital marketing with omni channels, with multiple channels, multiple touch, right? How the customers are behaving, part to purchase behavior. So there are so many things as a part of digital marketing. So digital marketing itself is a very growing field, right? So if you add a skill set from Python, okay, it really boosts up your I'd say likelihood of getting a job as a social media data scientist. I would say more of not a data analyst, right? Because I really want all of you to go into a data science or a data engineering profile. So uh, scenario one was scenario two. Scenario one where you do not have, was scenario two where you have. Okay, scenario one is like you will be part of. It's not like you cannot get a job or you cannot get an opportunity. You can, but I would say the opportunities will be limited, or the scope of growing can be limited, right? So, but when you really add a skill set like Python or cloud-based things, right? So it really really changes your profile. Okay, and it's not that you need to really get into some high level object oriented coding, but some basics of Python. Obviously, more it's always better. And the ability to integrate with some kind of cloud services, uh, it presents you with the ability to be uh, you know absorbed by any organization. Okay, any organization which are dealing with digital marketing, because you already have a prior experience to that. So just to cut short and to answer your question, like in one line, I gave the explanation, I guess. How necessary? It's like I would say 60-70%, or maybe 80%. It's necessary if you are really targeting this field, right? If you are really targeting, okay, I want to continue with strategy or digital marketing itself, might not be. But if you really want to get in the data part of it, okay. So in that case, Python becomes a tool to handle the data, analyze the data, and that's why it becomes much importance itself. Okay. Okay. Others, also let me know if you have any questions. Again, feel free to ask, unmute yourself and ask, or drop in the chat box. Okay. Okay, so let's begin the session. Let's really talk about some things like why cloud. Okay, so we have been talking about like cloud is getting into the yeah, we are all talking about cloud. Okay, I will give you the numbers. I'll throw you the numbers. Okay, but before that, I will give you a very micro example. Okay, uh, I'm sure like we all have experienced that. Remember in the school days, okay, when we used to watch, how you watch a movie, how do you used to watch a movie, or let's say watch your favorite show, how you used to do it? Anyone wants to answer? Like, let's say you want to watch a movie or play a game. How do you want to? How you used to do it? TV, right? Even though we have laptops, we used to get in a pen drive, right? or a CD. Yeah, or maybe we used to visit those like video game parlors and play, right? I hope all agrees with me. Yeah, but
Yes, sir.
yeah. So that's how we used to do it, right? Have we had we imagined at that time, like if I want to watch a show, I can really watch so many shows in my mobile, right? Right now we all, like, generally I would say people do watch shows or news or whatever
Actually,
in their maybe tabs or in their mobile phones, not even laptops, I would say, right? Uh, so uh, so from a memory point of view, okay, just from a memory point of view, just try to imagine these two scenarios, right? Watching the ability to watch 100 random shows at any point of time, at this point of time, versus we really struggle, okay, I need to go get a pen drive, copy the data, and then the files will be transferred, and then I can start watching. So it's a change. It's a complete change. And why I brought this example is from a consumer point of view, right? We are users point of view. So from a user point of view, we know that it's an remarkable change in the way we are dealing with the data. Okay, and now just to add on, okay, uh, especially after the COVID, okay, the entire world was hit. Okay, everyone was stuck in their homes. We were all stuck in their homes. The only thing that we had is what? Our laptops, our phones, right? That's the only way we are communicating or interacting with the world. We are working, right? Or maybe ordering something. So even the groceries and everything. So everything was made digital, and the amount of this, I would say, the capacity of the data that we were generating, or the data that was being generated, right? So I think there was this uh, tweet from Grofers CEO just before, I think PM Modi was trying to give an announcement. He did not made a next lockdown, but I think he talked about, like, maybe, I'm not sure about the numbers, maybe some 7 million carts, right? 7 million carts, they were there, ready to, check out, because no one was sure that what's the next move from our prime minister, right? So in that case, what we are referring is that so much is happening, and so much is happening in the cloud. Okay, where is all this happening? Right, it's all happening in the cloud. Data, the apps that you're using, everything is integrated with the web. And when you say web, it's actually the cloud. So everything is gets attached to the web, to the cloud, and this entire thing is working, right? Now, this is a very micro example. From a macro example, right? So I've just tried to put down the numbers. 80%, 81%, right? So 4 by 5, like out of five, 4 companies have reported that they need or they have a multi-cloud strategy, right? Laid out. So 4 out of 5 companies wants to have a multi-cloud, a cloud strategy in place, right? End of 2021, 60%, 67% of all enterprises will be cloud-based, and which are not, they are leaving behind. And that's the major reason, right? There is an enormous demand in the space, because companies want to really, I would say, the companies which are not data driven, or are not using analytics, or not using data science, they really want to shift, and they want to not run out of the space, right? So a lot of traditional companies are now really thinking of their business models and saying, like, okay, how do I work, right? So there's a company, there's Target. Okay, Target is I'm not sure how many of you guys are aware of it. I'm sure many of you are. It's basically a big retail in US, right? It's basically was driven by a lot of store sales, right? So imagine Big Bazaar. Okay, Big Bazaar, we know it's a store, right? We mostly relate Big Bazaar to a store, visiting the store and buying things, right? But now in this competitive digital space, when we even we are even maybe ordering a simple, some green tea, we are ordering it online. Yeah. So that's basically a shift that has happened, and that's why even the traditional companies rethink their models, right? And in that case, obviously, cloud is becoming so omnipresent, so essential, right? And I found this statistic very, very interesting, right? This particular statistic in this case, okay, the average person, okay, uses 36 cloud-based services every single day. Okay, so you can yourself count the number of apps you're using, maybe WhatsApp, and maybe some social media accounts, right? Maybe some productivity accounts, some time management accounts, some office related accounts, right? So 36, okay, that's the number. And we are referring in this case is like from a product point of view, from a producer point of view. There's so much of demand to manage these apps, to manage the data, right? Because all of this is basically relating to a lot of data. Okay, basically everything that we are doing is resulting in data. Now companies are not sure that how to analyze this data. Okay, they are not sure because so much of data is generated. They do not know how to handle the data. They do not have a data strategy, or they do not have the skill set, and they do not really know like how to use this data to generate insights, or build so-called ML models, right? And so in this case, these percentages, okay, they really are telling the story that how cloud has become a very, very important part of our lifestyles, and not just from a user, but obviously from the industry point of view, right? Some interesting, and these are real numbers at a global level. All of these, like 94% of all enterprises use cloud services. 48% of businesses use data on the cloud. They store data on the cloud. Okay, human error is to blame for cloud breaches. 88% of cases. Sorry, 3 by 4. Right, cloud security. Security is a top concern when you're doing cloud. So in that case, having those skills, being able to define the roles and all of that, huge demand. Okay, 2025, 100 zettabytes of data stored in the cloud. Okay, so one zettabyte is equal to 1 billion terabytes. Okay, or 1 trillion gigabytes. So this is a huge number, guys. This particular number is a huge. Okay, now, okay, we can say that okay, Arpindu, you are always telling about this. So much of data is getting generated, but what should I do with that? I only need a job in this sector, and that's it. What should I really do with these numbers? Okay, now why I'm putting these numbers, or why I'm trying to put this perspective, is that there is a huge demand. Okay, or there will be continuous growing of this demand. Okay, at least for the next 4 or 5 years. Okay, and the pandemic had added to the demand, and having the right skill set. Okay, and having the right, I would say, know-how, really puts up you in a place. So I'm just trying to give a perspective, that scenario where, let's say, the COVID didn't happen and everyone was like going the way they used to work. No, not much of, I would say, added space of digitalization, right? So versus this scenario where everyone is working digitally. Okay, so the demand has become higher. Okay, so if you had plans of switching, or thinking about this career, so now this has become much more, I would say, demandable, given the change how the organizations are working, right? So I've tried to put this statement from Dev Jani Ghosh, who's the NASSCOM president, that uh, the demand for digital skill today, is including cloud, is around 8 to 10 times than the supply. Okay, it's a big number, 8 to 10 times higher than the supply. So there are not much people out there, but 8 to 10 times is higher the demand, and we can realize the full potential of the cloud, and making India the talent nation of the world, right? So again, what these things are really saying is that the demand is huge. Okay, it's just like we need to really put the skill set, the right skill set at place, and then the likelihood of getting absorbed by an organization really increases. Okay, so basically the entire, I would say, the crux of these numbers are giving this perspective, is that cloud is on the rise. And in any ways, if you want to align, if you're thinking of aligning or you want to align, right now if you're aligning, right, it's a very apt time. Okay. And uh, it's the boom in any sector comes once, it stays, and then it starts declining. Okay. What has happened for data science and now with the data engineering, which I will speak in a few moments, is that people really want to automate things. People really want to put things on cloud and work there with at least because the volume of data has become so huge. Okay, it is impossible to store them on premise. Sorry, when I say on premise, it simply means store. Let's say you have some Almira in your backyard and you want to store, right? So that's what on premise means, right? So that's basically because has become a traditional model. Everyone wants to store things on cloud and process the data on cloud. Okay, so everything is like cloud based. That's what on cloud means. Okay. Now, in this case, in this entire thing, is a new emergence of data engineering. Okay. So I'm sure few of you guys or many of you guys, how many of you have heard about data engineering, by the way, in this crowd? Like how many of you know what data engineering is, or uh, 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 basically know about it? Okay. Harsh knows. Shivam. Okay. Okay. All okay. Some of you say yes. Some of you know. Okay. What about others? Again, guys, I want you guys to really speak on this. So what is your perspective on data engineering and how it differs from data science? Okay. For example, I belong to more of a data science background, right, or data science work. But there is a clear cut distinction which is happening in data engineering, right? Okay, great. Harsh is already working as a data engineer, so he can obviously relate well and have the actual facts. Okay, but but for the larger audience, okay, so let me try to speak about it. Okay, so data engineering, again, the idea is objective is to give you a perspective, is to give you a very clear perspective, guys, is like what is it and how it is operating, okay, or how things are changing, okay. And what I'm trying to say is a difference of couple of years, like from 2018, 2019 to 2021, okay. So till 2019, 2020, I would say pre-COVID, there was a continuous demand for data science, data scientists, right? The dev was, it was not like there was not a demand of data engineers, there was demand, but now suddenly the demand has boomed up. Okay, the demand for data engineers has boomed up. Now, what is it? Let me talk about it. So, data engineers, how they differ from data scientists is that data scientists really work on, I would say, building the frameworks of a model. Let's say we are working on a machine learning model. So, what would be the algorithm used? What would be the analytics? What would be the the how the model be tuned, trained, and all of that, right? So really, we really work with the frameworks, or we really work with the meta code of it. Okay. Now, what data engineers do, or how data scientists and data engineers collaborate, they basically make it productionized. Okay. So just to give you a very simple example, how many of you guys are aware of let's try to use a simple technique, linear regression here. How many of you are aware of what linear regression is? None of you, some of you, most of you. Linear regression. Others? Little bit. I'm just trying. I will not get into linear regression. Don't worry. I'm just trying to give you a perspective. Just try an example. Okay. So basically, for people who do not know, linear regression is basically, let's say, econometric model. Okay, a model which you run, okay, to get some predictions. Okay, it enables you to get some predictions. Example of that would be, let's say, you want to predict what would be the oil prices for tomorrow. You can run a model and you can get the forecast. Okay, so for people who do not know, that's basically the, I would say, one of the objectives of running any kind of I would say machine learning model. Right now, what is happening is that, let's say you have trained a model. Okay, you have trained a model in the local, you have written a nice code and all of that, and it really works on a batch data, which means you have a CSV file in your, or Excel file in your desktop or laptop. You imported that file, you ran the model, you got some forecast. Okay, all with me in that, all will be in this till this point of the example, I hope. Right, now, where's the complication is, let's say now I forecasted it, let's say for maybe 1 day for one machinery. Now, let's say I want to do it for 10 million machineries, or let's say not 10 million machineries, 10,000 machineries daily. Can I do this daily? Can one person really, run 10,000 models every day on? It is impossible, right? It is impossible for a person to do. So the data scientist will, what he or she will do, he will write that code to, basically how to forecast, or how to, basically have the algorithm in place. What data engineers will do, okay, is basically make it productionalized, bring them in the production environment, right? Uh, what I mean to say is that, is use this model and basically create a pipeline, okay, and basically build a flow, right, where continuously every day 10,000 models are being trained without any human intervention, okay, and your predictions are getting generated. Okay, now that's what the role of a data engineering is. Sounds interesting, I hope. And it is, I will tell you, it's now it is highly demanded by companies. Why? Because now people are dealing with huge amount of data. One, second is they want to really make more faster predictions and more accurate predictions, because companies have become so competitive. They do not want to really lose their share. They do not want to, become obsolete. So one example of a company which became obsolete was Nokia. Okay, Nokia could not really, I would say, catch up with their competitors, and hence it became obsolete. So companies really do not want. Okay, so in that case, basically the role of data engineers who can deploy models in a pipeline and make them productionalized. Okay, that's how it becomes. They become really, really important. Okay, so yes, I've written a simple snippet of what's the difference between data engineering and data analyst. Okay, so data scientist and data analyst. Okay, they basically glean knowledge and insights. Okay, data engineers. Okay, basically build systems for collecting, validating, and preparing the high quality data. Uh, and gather and prepare the data to promote better business decisions. Okay, so data scientists are more towards business, more towards, building the fund model, but data engineers are really basically building the systems. Okay, so out of all of this word, the word I want to really highlight, okay, the word I really want to highlight is this word, which is systems. Okay, so they basically build the systems, pipelines. I would say, uh, Harsh, I think you would agree to this. Basically, that you guys really build pipelines or systems or processes, which basically from where the data is getting consumed. Okay, and the data becomes easily, can be used for building a model. Okay, so you guys can even deploy this model, and this basically the forecast is happening. Okay, now this part of the code, okay, this part of the code where we are really, training the model or doing all those sort of data science things. Okay, forgive me for my drawing. This part of the data scientist, but this entire pipeline, okay, deploying this entire pipeline becomes the role of data engineers. So again, from the perspective of today's world, from the perspective of companies, this is a huge skill. This is a great skill to have, and companies are really, really are watch out for this kind of skill. Okay, now how we basically tie all of this. Okay, how we basically tie. We talked a lot of about, different things, like about cloud, about about data engineering. Okay, but how really talk about this in today's world? And I really want to, I gave like few three snippets. Okay, so from data engineering point of view, okay, or from a cloud point of view, Python is like a very essential skill. It's like if you do not know Python, I'm sorry to say you will not fit in the industry. You will not, or you'll not grow in the industry. Okay, so it's like the most I would say important, not replaceable skill. Okay, it's like you need to know this, and it is cannot be compromised. Okay, there are certain things in all of our resumes, which know it's where recruiters can say, okay, okay, this person does not know TensorFlow, that's fine. This person does not know, let's say, about recommendation systems, it's fine. Okay, but you need to know Python. Okay, Python is basically the base of everything, and obviously Python in cloud, we are basically referring to also being able to run codes in the cloud. Okay, and because that forms a base, and through that you can really choose a career or basically specialize. Obviously you cannot do everything, but you can really specialize. Okay, so 8.5 lakhs, I would say this is like the starting salary, or like the average starting salary, and it can really grow. Okay, people who are with good companies like Google, Apple, Microsoft, consulting or big four companies, they really can earn a very good amount of time, and the curve can be very steep. Okay, so your learning curve, your career growth curve can be really steep if you are really updating yourself in a very I would say in a good time. Okay, so with all of this, okay, what I'm trying to tell you is, guys, is like at this point of time, cloud is like I'm sure like all of you guys already aware of it, but I'm trying to just back it with numbers and a perspective from the industry lens. Okay, the second is like about the rise of data engineering. Not so data science and data engineering, they are not same. Data engineers are mostly building those pipelines, streamlining the processes, by which the entire processes will run. Okay, so we are not talking about things in silos. Okay, back 2 3 years back, we used to get the data, we used to train the model, and then we used to do the predictions. Okay, so this entire thing you should make can typically take a timeline of 3 to 4 months to maybe 6 months. Okay, but now what companies want, everything on a real time basis. Okay, everything on a real time basis. So everything will not is not like they will send you the data, then you will build a model, then you will build a PPT, or they will build a Power BI dashboard, and then you will present. No, everything will become operationalized, streamlined, and everything will go in a flow. Okay, when the model fails, obviously you guys can intervene and check the model, but everything is like in an automated flow. Okay, as users you can experience it through uh, Uber, Netflix, all of these companies which are basically using I'd say these kind of operational frameworks to basically deploy everything on a real time basis. Okay, so in that case everything is happening on the cloud, and everything is um, uh, you know um, being driven from cloud-based workflows, right? And all of this. So even if you talk about, I'm not sure if I've included that slide, but even if you talk about, I would say I have written someone that AWS. Okay, so there are basically three major cloud-based services: AWS, Google Cloud Platform, and Microsoft Azure. Okay, in all of these three services, what is a one common thing, guys? That is Python. Okay, so AWS, GCP, and Microsoft Azure, they provide cloud-based, you know, functionalities. And one thing which is common in all of these is Python. Okay, so all of these three services use Python. Even Databricks, they all use Python for any kind of frameworks which you're building within those, right? So in that aspect, okay, so what we are basically referring is that uh, that Python is the winner. Okay, so no doubt, it has surpassed its competitors like R. or MATLAB or SAS, right? Or SPSS, in any of these competitors which used to exist previously in the industry. Right now, Python is a clear-cut winner. Why it has become a clear-cut winner? Because of its easy integration with machine learning and deep learning libraries, the use of Python in cloud, or the ability to do much task than as compared to the other I would say substitutes like R, right? So the community of Python is much more engaging, much more developing than any of the others. Okay. Now I will speaking for a quite some time. Let me know, guys, if you have any questions, any perspectives till now. Very would be if you have guys have any questions, feel free to ask. No, I guess that's no for now. But uh, again, I have been reiterating this fact that I'm sure you guys might have that much of information, or I would say perspective about these terminologies. But in a real sense, since data engineering or cloud and the integration of Python, it has become really important or really indispensable in this industry. So across companies, across industries, across sectors, or across solutions, this framework is getting deployed. Be it pharma, be it finance, be it I would say telecom, be it e-commerce, right? Be it even technology, everything is where this kind of operations is happening, right? Now, I really want to talk about, why Python is also kind of the winner. Okay. So three key aspects: scalability, cloud integration, cloud run and integration. That's three key points why Python has become important. Okay. Now, having said that, I know I am talking about Python and then the importance of it. It's not that one has to be really good and has to be really hands-on coding. Okay. One can really pick up I would say the learning curve of Python is very fast because there is not too much of libraries or not too many. Like unlike R, people who already know R can vouch for that. But it's not like too varied. Okay, so it's very streamlined, and that's how you can basically learn Python also, and in I would say shorter period of time. Okay, so scalability, integration, cloud runs, these are all basically aspects of what Python offers. Okay, now in all of this, basically what I wanted you guys to also show. Okay, so don't get confused by this flow which I have prepared for you guys. Okay, so this flow basically talks about how data flows, okay, from your systems, okay, and these systems can be legacy systems, traditional databases, flat files, cloud databases, external sources or APIs. Okay, so you can have real-time ingestion. This part, okay, so you can have something like a real-time ingestion in here. Okay, and you can also have like a batch data ingestion or capturing the data, and you can have something like a raw data store. Okay, and what you have is like prepare the data and you clean the data. Then what you do is like you create a kind of clean data set. Okay, and then basically you have these pipelines by which you have your kind of data science or sorry, analytics going on, right? With all of this happening, so you can have forecasting, you can predictive analytics, uh, capacity analysis, even sentiment analysis, so any kind of things that you want. Okay, so all of this. So this is the part where we really write the codes about model building, but building this entire pipeline. Okay, building this entire pipeline, making it end to end and running. That's really becomes part of the job of a data engineer. Okay, and then it really adds up to dashboards or UIs that you see, and that really is consumed by the business. Okay, so this becomes like a typical data flow, cloud data flow. And I would say in many of these, like here, 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 even here, your Python gets used as a very important tool, okay, to generate the entire process, right? So that's basically how it works. Again, I'm sure like in a very short period of time, it might be difficult to grasp and understand everything. But basically, this is like the I would say the overarching flow of how it flows from from your traditional or flat files or databases to I would say dashboards and Power BI, right, reports. And in all of this, we will have pipelines integrated with one another so that everything is happening on a real time basis. Okay, so now what I will do, guys, I think we are already nearing in, but what I will do is like I will quickly show you, okay, the use of Python. We'll try to stream some real-time data on the cloud, okay, and I'll not perform any kind of data science work on that, but I'll just show you like how Python can be helpful in terms of streaming data from the web and use it for my further analysis purpose. Okay, but before that, before I really jump into the cloud, showcase some of the cloud computing abilities of Python. Okay, let me know if you guys have any questions. I would be happy to answer that uh, before I really jump into the cloud case. Come on, guys. I really thought that you guys will have some, interesting questions and perspectives. Let me know.
Hi, Arpindu.
Hello. Hi.
Hi, Arpindu. My name is Wasim,
Hi.
and
Hi, Wasim.
I'm working as a data analyst in Amazon. I recently joined this organization. So I
Mm-hmm.
have one issue that
Sure.
I have quite feared uh, when we talk about Python and advanced ML and deployment any of this models. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I have not joined any institute. I have not, got any dedicated training on this, but I have
Right.
tried to, learn this from open platforms.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, but I do have a fear inside, when thinking about all this. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, can you tell me this? Is this fear natural? I mean, I don't know much about Python, advanced Python, but I have learned
Mm-hmm.
till the intermediate level by
Mm-hmm.
on myself. So
Mm-hmm.
so I was dreaming, about to learn the data scientists, all the tools, what are they required, and so yeah,
Sure.
can you give me a roadmap and yeah, sort of thing. Yeah, thank you.
Sure, Wasim. I think it's a very legitimate question. I also have some similar perspectives. Doing something, using the web, using the open source to learn versus have a more of a guided thing. Okay, obviously everything has its own pros and cons. Okay, open source has its own pros and cons. Obviously, you can be as flexible as you can be. Obviously, it is free. That's that's very true of it, right? I will be blunt and honest about it, right? But when you really pick up these carriers, or really when you really talk about these skill sets, okay, so these are I think you will everyone will accept that these are very specific skill sets, and these are the use case of these skill sets are not so much available. Okay, what you will get in the open source is like how to read a file, or I'm not saying just how to read a file. You will get codes. Okay, I'm not saying that you will not get codes or not get exercises, but what you will lack is a use case. Okay, you will lack examples of business use case of applying technique. Okay, of how it is applied or how this adds to the business value. Okay, This versus, taking up something, doing some structured case, that becomes very, very interesting and very, very uh, uh, important from the user perspective, right? So I really recommend in that case, like if you really want to put structure and if you really want to put a deadline, you really want to put a framework. I think that's how you should uh, strategize about, right? So things which you feel like I'm comfortable, definitely go it for an open source. But things which you feel like, okay, I need a structure, I think definitely taking up something which is, uh, you know, uh, from institute, that becomes more important. And I would say beneficial in the long run. Okay, I definitely vouch for that. It is beneficial in the long run. I hope personally I was able to, do
Yeah,
justice to your
Sanjeev. I
question.
think always have this hypothesis that I was in some wrong direction and the result are not so efficient. So I'm not happy with all that. But yeah, I have researched this all this about, and I think
Mhm.
yeah, someone some good mentor and a good teacher is very important. I think throughout this journey. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Sure, Wasim. Okay, I'll also just, I think, I guess most of you guys have already seen it. I'll just run my quick announcement that we have a small basic Python quiz. Okay, like very, very simple questions, which you guys can, it's MCQ and you can really, just 5 questions. So if you have some time, feel free to, just answer those questions. It would be beneficial for us to, just to have understanding of what your understanding is, and we can, and use that information in a very constructive way. Okay. Also, in the interest of time, what I will just show you that this is like the screen that you see right now. It's basically, some of you guys again must have already know it. Some of you, for you people who do not know, it's a Colab environment. It's a Python or Jupyter environment from Google. Okay, Google Cloud. Okay, so there's a cloud-based environment where we can run scripts in Python, and again the benefit of it is the ability to handle as much amount of data. Obviously, it's a free version, so there are limitations to it. But when you really work in AWS or GCP in the paid version, you can really work with enormous amount of data and much more efficient time. Okay, so what I will do is like I will just run. I'll not really get into the scripts one by one. But I won't really want to show is like what I will try to do in here is like I will be basically fetch some tweets from Twitter on a real time basis. So you see, like I've tried to give a search query of IPL 2021, and I'm trying to extract like 5,000 tweets using my API handles. Okay. Um, so I will be using this entire Python environment, which cannot be done to any other. Obviously, it can be done in R, but not as much. In speed or in not much as much. I would say uh, faster way as Python can be done. Okay, so basically, I'm hitting the web. I'm downloading certain tweets on April 2021, and what you will see is like I will once the tweet is downloaded, you will be so I have total of 502 tweets are downloaded and saved to this particular file. And now what I will do is like I will just create and run this file, and then what I will try to want to show you is this data set. Okay, so uh, and I think the final thing which I wanted to really show you is this. So basically, what we have in here is basically the the ability to read or basically extract or even deploy codes in Python. Okay, so Google Colab is like one way of having those codes handy. In other ways, there are like in AWS and Azure you can, or in GCP you also have the other platforms. to run these codes. Okay. The ability is like basically to do it on a more real-time basis, handle larger amounts of data, and most importantly, automate things. Okay. So even though we said like we want to really focus on automation, but I really wanted to also, focus on why this automation is important and how we are doing this in Python. Okay. So for example, in this perspective, what we did is like we hit the web, we downloaded certain range of tweets, and now we have that data in our console. Okay. And now I can really see like these tweets, like if I really show you one. Okay. First row. So in this case, my favorite picture, and obviously I can even let's say extract full text. Okay, so I can basically, what I can do is obviously I can do a lot of things from this particular data that I have, which I basically generated, okay, through the tweets that I extracted, and I can really run sentiment analysis and all of that. Okay, this is just one of the applications that we have, but really using this and using the Python's ability to run things and doing things on a fly or automate things becomes much more faster, much more easier, and much more acceptable by the entire industry. Okay, so that's how this entire, I would say, the linkage of Python is with cloud and with data engineering. Okay, I deliberately did not want to get into the code because that's what not really the idea in this 1 hour session. We wanted to talk about how the industry and perspective is handled. The data is handled by this industry. Okay, and why it is becoming so important to be equipped with languages like Python, because it really helps you to enable to automate and doing things in a much seamless manner. As we kind of hit the clock, okay, I will stop here. And obviously, if you guys have, I will be happy to know your perspectives, know your I would say if you guys have any parting questions, if you guys have any questions to ask, please do let me know. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Actually, sir, I have a question.
Sure.
So, like, sir, I come from non-technical background in graduation, and right now, sir, I'm pursuing my MBA in business analyst. So, sir, right now I'm pursuing my MBA in business analytics.
Sure.
So, sir, yes, sir. So, sir, sir, almost every company, they are, sir, allowing only the who are from the technical background or who already have like experience in the business analytics or data analytics. So, sir, how I can, sir, go in this role, sir? Because I don't have any like experience in this role. Neither I belong to technical background.
Sure, Manish. It's a very valid question, Manish, to say.
Yes, sir.
It's a very valid question, and I get this. Like even I faced at certain part of time, to be honest with you. Okay, but right, really, how do you move from a background or from a field which you're not, but into a data science or data engineering field, which you want to, right? Even though you do not have the required experience of it. So really, since since you said like you're already doing an MBA, I would really recommend you to build a data science portfolio, which means you build a portfolio of projects, showcase different algorithms, different skill sets, different, I would say, ways of using, and give the confidence to the recruiter that you already know. Okay. So what I'm saying by portfolio, I have to be very specific. Build around 25 to 30 projects. Okay. And it can be in regression, classification, deep learning, PySpark, whatever you are learning, right? Put that in the GitHub, put that in the Kaggle, put that in your different websites, Stack Overflow, and make this profile of yours very compelling. Participate in hackathons, right? So with this, obviously, you will not be able to get an industry experience, because unless you get recruited, you will not. But this really gives the recruiter the confidence that you know the hands-on and you have done a lot of work into the field. Okay, so that's something which I really believe that can really
But
change.
sir, but they clearly mention there like they only allow like the candidate who have the 2 or 3 plus year of experience.
See, Manish, to be honest with you, that's always written in a job description. Okay, they will always say that they will want 2 to 3 years of experience. But does that mean that freshers are not included in this field? No, that's not right. Freshers are included in this field. You really need to give, as I said, impression in a different way. Your story in a different way, right? So if you already have some experience or work experience, you can showcase your experience that you were already using analytics, and now you want to go do a full project transition. You know the job, you know the tools, you know the techniques. You have done like 30 projects in data science or data engineering, right?
Yes, sir.
And that's how you can basically make a very compelling case by which the recruiter cannot see. But if you just say that, okay, I'm doing this training and I'm doing this course, they will obviously not, there is a chance they might not entertain you. Okay, so you need
Yes, sir.
to go from the recruiter's perspective. They will always say that they want 2 to 3 years of experience, but it's not like they will always have people with 2 to 3 years experience. So in that case, they also look out for freshers. But in that case, if you really have good projects under your belt, uh, put put those projects in all those websites and community websites and platforms, right? And you can really speak about those projects, and you can also say about what you have done in your previous work experience, let's say with analytics. That really makes a compelling case.
Okay, thank you, sir.
I hope that helps, Manish.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Means I need to work on projects, sir. More and more project.
25 to 30 minimum.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sure. Okay. What else? Okay. Let me know, guys, if you have, if you want to reach out, you can always reach out. Can we know? Can we know? Yeah, Priyanka, you will be. I think you will be made aware of the answers of the poll. So I think the results will be sent to you, to all the participants who are attending. Okay. So, right. So those answers will be possibly sent to you in the link. And those questions were just, way to check. They were not really mandatory, or they were not really, deciding of what and how much you know. Really want to do a sense check on how much you know about Python. So, uh, no, I would say groundbreaking or, defining questions, but definitely we'll try to communicate you the answers of the code. Sure. Yeah, I really hope you guys got some, I would say, definitive perspective about what data engineering is, what cloud is, and how Python is really, really important in this entire perspective. Okay. And the takeaways I would say is like really, if you really are interested, really, start focusing on Python as a skill set, as a key skill set, and make yourself aware about other cloud techniques like, as I mentioned, AWS, GCP, or Azure, which are the cloud platforms which all companies are using. So either of it, they're all using. So even if you are knowing one of it, you really become highly demanded by the organization. Okay. So I think that's the first step. So if you guys want to reach out, you can always reach out to, Sonia, Sonali, or the team from Ivy. If you have any queries about or what courses do we have, right? If you have any technical queries, if you want to, guidance, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn or even on my email. So this is my email ID. If you really want to connect, feel free to drop a chat. I will definitely get back to you. Okay. And I really believe that you guys were able to take away some very, I would say, definitive and interesting perspectives through this entire session.
Excuse me, sir.
Sure. Yep.
Sir, I'm from a non-technical background.
Sure, Apu, go ahead.
And sir, I'm
Mansi,
pursuing
yeah.
graduation in BSc Life Science. Like I'm from a medical field.
Sure.
So, sir, like I am entering into this field. It's all new for me. I've not done maths also. So I studied Power BI and SQL from Ishani ma'am and Prateek sir. And sir, now I want to ask that like how should I go further in this field and go deep into this in the profile of data analyst?
So one thing, Mansi, is like, so I have a few friends, very close, I'd say, like my college mates who were from life sciences, and they did PhD and all of that. I'm sure that you might have your own ambitions, but even in life sciences, there's a lot of role itself. If you really, later on choose a very specific niche part, so role of R or Python, right? Or else if you really want to get into the corporate, really get into the life sciences field. So just to tell you, just to give you a perspective, and I think this will really make you happy that companies really have a life science team. Okay, pharma, life sciences has become a very, very important, I would say, like customer analytics or risk analytics. Life sciences is also a very integral part of teams. Okay, so that domain that you have is very important. Okay, you just need to know the right skills, the right techniques. So yeah, you said you already learned Excel and SQL, right, through Prateek and Ishani. So yeah, I think you should continue. You should target maybe R or Python, and also some visualization like Tableau. You already learned Power BI, which is great, right? I think that definitely the next step is something that if you really go into learning with Python and R, that really completes a one layer of cycle, okay, of your learning. And as I said, your domain is demanded by the industries, pharma, life sciences. These are there are units in the industries. There are a lot of companies like Pfizer, Moderna, all of these drugs companies. They have a lot of IQVIA, Roche. They are demanding a lot of people from life sciences. Okay, so continue with the studies. Do well. Equip it with these skill sets. I think that really makes you a very compelling candidate.
Sir, I have also done the data visualization using R. Now I'm left with Python. Anything else like I should do?
No, as of now, I think if you really complete with Python, okay.
Sir, I have not done Python. Only Python is left. And what else, if you will help me out?
That's what I'm saying is like at least for Python and Power BI or Tableau, whatever you've done, try to build as many projects as you can. So for your life sciences, I think you should really watch out for like what kind of data that you have and try to link with your domain. Okay, I'm sure there are a lot of health related data or data in your field. Okay, so try to build as many projects as much possible. Okay, not just I did this course.
Where will I get the projects?
There are a lot of free projects. You can really scout for data sets in Kaggle. You can really scout for data in.
I tried from Kaggle, but I got the data sets, but I want projects. So from the Kaggle.
So yeah. So if you have the data sets, generally we have a data description. So you can make your own problem statement. Okay, and that problem statement becomes a project. Okay, so you can really focus on, let's say, on healthcare, and you can. It's not like someone has to give you a project. You can really make projects of your own. Let's say you really want to focus on what was the impact of COVID vaccine, and there's a lot of open data sets. You can really develop models upon it and publish that project. Okay, so what I'm saying is that your domain, what is happening in the domain. So I come from economics domain. Okay, so I know, right, data sets related to economics or what kind of problem statements, right? So similarly, in your field, even you do not have those projects, what I'm saying is that Mansi is like, since you're belonging from life sciences, do not do banking projects, okay, or do not do some kind of risk projects. Like, okay, do something which is related to your own domain, which can really add up to your profile.
Okay, sir. And sir, I was studying linear regression few days back when I was studying data visualization using R. So I couldn't get the topic. I tried a lot, but I really couldn't get it. So I just dropped it.
I think these topics are pretty simple. Again, depends upon. Again, it's not within my purview right now to start explaining it, but these topics are very simple, and I would say like whatever you choose, however you choose, there are a lot of resources there. There are a lot of resources out there. Uh, I'm not sure if you're doing things from IB, but like R or Python. So even I do it. So yeah, I think either of it. There are a lot of resources. Really, maybe you can watch out some videos or there's a certain book called ISLR Introduction to Statistical Learning. So which I always recommend to folks who want to join in this industry. So I will recommend you that Introduction to Statistical Learning. It's pretty stats heavy, but it really makes a lot of concepts clear. Okay, so if depending upon you want to watch a video and learn, or read a book, or I would say there are a lot of blogs in Analytics Vidya, in Kaggle. Also, there are a lot of simple blogs. So start reading that. I think that can really help you. Okay. Apart from that, I think if you're doing it from IB, you can always access the recorded sessions where there are sessions about linear regression.
So it is necessary to do the algorithm part.
Yes, it is. It is. It
Okay.
is.
So that also
Essential.
I will get from the videos and the.
Yeah, you should. Yes.
Okay. And so, what about will I get a job after the graduation by pursuing the certificate courses, or I have to do MSc or MBA in some data science
No,
field?
no, 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 no. I I am not a big fan of of MSc or MBA in data science. I think these are like uh, pretty expensive, I would say. Okay, I always recommend people to take up jobs first, gain some experience, and switch. Okay, what if you can get the same job with the same without spending that amount of money? Okay, so I will always prefer take up jobs. Obviously, you can after 1 year, 2 year, if you want to add an MBA to it or add an MSc to it, you can. I will always prefer that. Uh, but I will say like the ROI of that, because these are really expensive courses. So yeah, you can. You will get definitely decent jobs with this. And obviously, if you want to take some experience, and post that, do that. Those do take those kind of courses if you want. Okay, because then you will, after getting some industry experience, you can basically uh, you know uh, make your profile more compelling.
Hence, it's not necessary for pursuing masters right now.
Not so necessary, and not right now. Not right
Yeah,
now. I
yeah.
should really go the industry, really see how it is, rather than spending another couple of years, another some more money, uh, and all of that.
Okay, sir.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir.
sure, Mansi. So Shivam, here you can whatever data sets. Let's say you want to build up a dashboard with COVID data set. You can basically go here and download it. Okay, so go onto the data sets, go onto the data, and download. So you can even see some codes, something like understanding and visualization. So someone has really already done that. What you have done, what you want to do. Okay, so country wise, so and all of that. So you can really use the data sets option within Kaggle, and basically create visualizations from that. I think it's not loading for me. Yeah, so that's how you can basically use Kaggle for, I would say, using any data sets, finding any data sets that you want. Hope that helps, Shubham. Is there any possibilities to get business questions also in Kaggle? In Kaggle, is just generally it's generally the case that we build. They're more of technical. Okay, so business questions, I think you should go in Analytics Vidya. So they have got good business questions related projects. Okay, so I think that's a more better platform. AV. Analytics Vidya. So this is the place. I'm just typing in. Great. Cool. I will now. Sorry guys, I also have a call in the next 9 minutes, I would say. So I want to have this make this a wrap, and I hope you guys enjoy the session, follow the session, have your own takeaways from the session. Okay, feel free to reach out to any of the IV's team or to me through email. Okay, and we'll be happy to hear you and answer any doubts if you have. And yeah, it's great to have all of you. And I will see you guys the next time. Okay. Till then, thank you all. Have a good day. Have a good weekend. And take care. And I will see you guys again. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, sir. Have a
Thank you
good time,
all.
sir.